Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the Extraordinary Expletive. You got your boy over here, J Dubs.
Kenny G's over here on the microphone, and we are 6 weeks in.
Dude, 6 weeks. This will be episode 6, guys. So thanks for sticking around with us right now. If you have been,
It's going to be number 5, but it is actually our sixth. Episode
yeah,
0 is kind of our dry run.
yeah, that was our intro. Fuck it, I don't care. We're still gonna call it episode 6.
Yeah.
Just rename everything on the websites. But so this week we are doing this episode by request to Bobby Palco. Shout out to the fan request here. So we're gonna be doing an episode on the grunge scene, and try to get us some nice flannel shirts.
Flannel is out of season.
It is out of season
but
in
plaid
every store.
is always in.
Plaid is always in. So we went and we got us some flannel
I feel like
colored stuff.
This is going to be something I'm going to do like whenever I was in my early 20s, whenever I go to a bar, I'd be like, I'm going to put on this nice little flannel. I'm going to put on this nice plaid shirt or this nice button up. Now I have a nice button up to go out again, even though I don't go out anymore.
Yeah, it's all right.
If I go out anymore, it's like to a shitty dive bar where there's like one guy there's like on us with a scratch off lotto ticket, and I'm like the only one.
Yeah. Well, now you can go out with Colin Thompson.
No, because he wears flannel all the time.
Yeah. Well, so you can just hang out with him. You guys could be friends.
Or a plain black shirt. Plain shirts or flannel, that's it.
Yeah. Shout out to Colin Thompson.
He is a good guitarist, though.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, but yeah, anyways, guys, so we're talking about grunge. It was quite the movement, and as soon as the 80s let out, it was the intro into the 90s, you know what I mean?
The thing about grunge, too, is so I guess the point we're looking at is whenever Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana came out.
I think that was the pinnacle.
That was it.
That's
was whenever
top.
grunge was here, because before that you had hair metal and Michael Jackson at the top of the charts.
Yeah.
And then after that, hair metal died. Michael Jackson, I mean, he wasn't as dominant as he was afterwards. I mean, Michael Jackson owned the 80s.
Yeah.
Not so much in the 90s.
No, yeah, not really. I mean, with publicity, he did.
No, yeah,
but
for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, Jesus. But yeah, for those of you guys who never listened to grunge, it in itself is, I mean, it became its own genre. It had these kind of sludgy, like, deep tone, kind of faster paced guitar stuff. Not always. There's a lot of slow stuff too, but they had this kind of raspy singing. Everybody wore flannel. It literally became a fashion statement. Everybody had them.
Ripped jeans. Converse. Plain Converse.
Dirty hair. Fucking, that was the scene, man. But grunge came in and, yeah, like you said, hair metal was in the 80s. And I think personally speaking, Nirvana's like responsible for murder in that scene, man. They really put hair metal to shame.
Yeah.
But there are a lot more grunge bands out there than Nirvana. I actually was looking at Loudwire's top 10 rated grunge bands that they had made. And, I mean, Nirvana was at the top of the charts. They said it's hard to argue that Nirvana isn't the best grunge band of the 90s.
No, I 100% agree, but I look at a band, there's a lot of bands that I think get overlooked in the grunge scene, too. Or bands that maybe get grouped into that grunge scene that, yeah, they were Seattle bands, but they weren't necessarily grungy. They weren't a grunge band. They maybe like Alice in Chains is one that, like, lyrically, yeah, maybe like some of the same themes that you see in other grunge bands, like, like depression and like self-doubt and stuff like that, because that is a recurring themes in grunge.
I think they were number 4 on that list.
I don't really see them as so much as a grunge band, though.
Yeah, they were different. They weren't so much in that genre, but at the same time, they kind of were.
They were.
Had that.
To me, they were just a little too heavy.
Heroin addicted lead singer and that raspy voice.
I mean, that's true though. Like,
yeah.
Whenever people talk about grunge bands, they say, okay, Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, and Stone Temple Pilots. Eddie Vedder's the only frontman still alive from any of those bands.
Yeah. I mean, Cornell wasn't an overdose, you know what I mean? But
you had 2 heroin overdoses and 2 suicides.
Yeah. And I was listening. What was the band I just told you? Something Mother
Love Bone.
Mother Love. They the lead singer literally died. I think they said it was like 2 weeks before their first CD actually dropped.
Mm-hmm.
That's fucked up. And that was a drug overdose. Same deal, you know what I mean? But um, I don't know. Maybe that fueled their rage, you know what I mean? But
Mother Love Bone is responsible for Temple of the Dog, which in turn is responsible for Pearl Jam.
yeah, they were two of the members from Pearl Jam were in that band, and after they, died out, like
They made Temple of the Dog as a tribute to the lead singer Mother Love Bone, and then that's where they found Eddie Vedder, because Eddie Vedder wasn't really doing anything before. Like, I'm sure he was around like the local music scene, but Eddie Vedder was kind of just, no one knew who Eddie Vedder was.
Yeah.
Then he did Temple of the Dog, and then a year later they go and make 10, which is one of the most groundbreaking grunge albums, rock albums ever.
Hell, I mean, everybody knew who they were so many singles were on that album, you know what I mean? And then by time like Jeremy came out, like that song, everybody knew who Pearl Jam was then, you know what I mean?
Yeah, by then.
Everybody's like, oh yeah, dude, this Eddie Vedder, yeah, I definitely know these guys. But we're talking about this time scene that was like, let's say like late 80s, if you will, like 86, 87. Really started it.
That's whenever you have bands like the Melvins and the Pixies.
And that's cool. See, I never took the Pixies as grunge either. You know what I mean? They were very different in their sound, like. But I guess I mean they definitely classify themselves.
Kurt Cobain actually said in an interview that the Pixies' early stuff from like the mid '80s was like that's kind of the sound he was trying to emulate with "Smells Like Teen Spirit."
Yeah,
like that was his influence.
That's sweet.
Was the Pixies?
Okay, see, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's something that. So and he also really liked the Melvins too. So that's why whenever people talk about grunge, I'm like, the Pixies and the Melvins are like the godfathers.
Yeah, they started. They were that influence. The Melvins, I was just actually listening to them today. They're a little heavier than I thought they were. But the song "Honey Bucket," if you listen to that song by the Melvins, you can literally hear the riff to "Negative Creep" in there. It's that dun 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 dun, like it was. I thought it was almost the same thing. You know what I mean? I was like, wow. He had that slide kind of deal. Yeah, you should check it out. If you compare those two, you can definitely see where the inspiration came from for that album. You had a lot of other bands in there too, like the Screaming Trees. They were a little different.
Screaming Trees are different.
I never really listened to them, to be honest. Like I said, I was checking out these other grunge bands I never got into. I'm sure everybody's heard of the ones we talked about.
I really enjoy L7.
I haven't heard them. Yeah, you were mentioning them.
Good. Did you ever play Grand Theft Auto San Andreas?
Yeah.
Okay, the song "Pretend That We're Dead," that's an L7 song.
Okay.
So I'm sure you've heard that one.
Probably driving around shooting some cops.
Yeah,
for sure. Mudhoney, they were another good one.
Mudhoney, and that was the big thing with grunge was it was these bands that were signed to Sub Pop.
Okay.
Because Soundgarden, Nirvana, and Mudhoney were all signed to Sub Pop. So after Nevermind gets released, people are trying to find the next Nirvana, and Sub Pop already has Soundgarden, and they already have Mudhoney. But then people are going up to Seattle, and they're, pulling these. They find these Pearl Jams and these Alice in Chains, and they're just trying to find the next big thing.
It was weird because at that time of music, that between, let's say, like 87 to 95, like Seattle became the new mecca. You know what I mean? That was where bands were coming out of. You wanted that sound, that's where it
And the way we were talking last week about how New York City was, if you wanted a punk band, you'd go to CBGB's in New York. Like, in the 90s, it was if you wanted a new rock band, you're going to Seattle to find somebody.
Yeah. Was it the scene there, like...
It has to be the stupidest thing, though, that, think about it. The year's 1990. You want to go to your friend wants to go to see Nirvana. They're playing at this theater, and then across the street there's Pearl Jam playing, and 3 blocks down the street, Alice in Chains has a show, and you're getting in for like a cover charge of like $15.
Yeah. And
in 2 years, all those bands are going to be selling out arenas.
Yeah, that was the cool part. They were in other people, just like the punk rock episode we talked about. Like, Kurt Cobain didn't like the whole pedestal rock star deal. Like, he didn't want to be above anybody else. Like,
he didn't want to be famous.
No, yeah, and I guess you see where that took him.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm definitely going to get into some Nirvana talk because that band just opened up the world for me, man. I think they did for everybody, really. Nevermind came out, and nobody listened to Bleach. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They didn't know who Chad Channing was, and
Jason Everman.
yeah, they didn't. They didn't know that they existed before then. But I don't know. Like, I think there was two different sides of grunge. You know what I mean? There's like your super heavy badass boy kind of deal, and then you got your slow other songs that are like way more mellow, way more chill, but they still had that same vibe. Like you said, yeah, the lyrics a lot were about depression and just life experiences and stuff. Self doubt for sure. Nirvana. I hate myself and I want to die. Like that was a literal song name.
Doll Parts by Hole.
Yeah. Hole was another big one. It's sad to say, but like I don't think Courtney Love actually came out of Kurt Cobain's shadow until like '96. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
that's when they really started to get noticed because, I mean, her husband was the lead singer in Nirvana. It's kind of hard to top that at that time in
And I
age,
mean, even Nirvana gave Dave Grohl his start, and now he's like one of the biggest musicians in the world.
Yeah,
Drummer extraordinaire.
everything extraordinaire.
Honestly, he's a better drummer than I feel that he's a better drummer than a guitarist.
Yeah,
And that's not
but
even. I think he's a good guitarist. I just think that he's phenomenal on drums.
vocally too, that guy is just out of here. What is it, Monkey Wrench? That whole last verse, he sings that in one breath. It's
And he's a
stunning,
local
You know what I
boy.
mean? Yeah, yeah. That's cool, man. Like, but he definitely knew what was going on, so he went out there and he's like, "Hey guys, what's up?"
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. We got a lot into Nirvana, definitely in high school, but in the Kurt Cobain journals, like he talks about meeting Dave Grohl, and he was going through a tough time. I think it was around like 91, 92. He was writing and saying that this is it, like Nirvana's done. We can't find another drummer. Blah 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 blah
It would have
blah.
been like 90.
Yeah. Then the following page, he's like, "Oh my God, we met a new drummer," and his words exactly were, "This guy plays the drums like he's beating the fuck out of somebody's heads." And you go in and you listen to these drum beats that Grohl put out, dude, and they're like, it's exactly like he said. You know what I mean? Like that's what you want. There's so much energy there, man. Like so much energy, and that was part of the grunge movement, man. Like everybody was like, "Fuck yeah!" Like they said fuck glam. They did
Yeah.
away with like the stage show bullshit, the costumes, and hey, dude, we're here to fucking play music.
Yeah. I got more into Soundgarden later on. Uh, Nirvana was like my gateway, but then from there Soundgarden, Stone Temple Pilots, all those ones. Stone Temple Pilots, they're like the weakest one to me,
Yeah,
the weakest link, and that's again like they had some hits, but I think what is it? Dead and Bloated literally has like 15 words in the entire song.
I don't know that one, but I'm gonna have to listen.
The one that I am smelling like a rose that somebody left me on my birthday deathbed.
Oh yeah,
That's all he says in the entire song.
Yeah.
And then he has like that little part in the middle, and that's it. Like, and they went through so much change too because they had Scott Weiland, then Chester Bennington, then Scott Weiland again, and it was just horrible. They're whenever they came back in like 2000, no, they had Scott Weiland, broke up, got Scott Weiland again, got Chester Bennington. There's a weird time frame there. I don't remember. I just remember in like 2007 they got back together and they released some songs and they were not good.
yeah,
And it's weird too. Their first album, Core, Rolling Stone magazine voted like the worst new album of the year, like most overrated album, and like the fans of Rolling Stone voted like the best new album. So the critics and the fans completely disagreed on that.
that's something you gotta.
I mean I like Core. I think it has good songs on it.
Yeah.
I think Cracker Man's a good song. Dead and Bloated is a good song, but 15 words.
Yeah. But yeah, critics aren't always people who.
But that was part of Grunge's things too. They didn't
Yeah.
care.
Yeah, they didn't give a fuck.
No.
Like I don't care what you think about me. Like I'm still up here playing this shit. You're still listening to it.
Eddie Vedder wrote one time at a concert, wrote like pro-choice on Harms and Sharpie.
Yeah. Nobody cares, and like
Yeah.
that's how. I don't know. Stemming from like the punk scene, like nobody gave a fuck there either. You know what I mean? So like, you got to keep that vibe alive. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody's getting all offended about this and that. And it's like, dude, you guys grew up like with some pretty hardcore, not give a fuck people,
Pretty
and
hardcore drug addicts.
yeah, like, and they were open about it. You know, nobody
Yeah.
gave a shit.
I think everyone knew. I mean, everyone knew too that everyone knew Lane Staley was. If you watch the MTV Live and Unplugged with Alice in Chains, Lane Staley's wearing sunglasses in a dimly lit building because he's just strung out so bad.
if you listen to Alice in Chains music, you can literally see the progression of when he got really into heroin,
Mm-hmm.
especially with his singing. You know, you got a lot of like slower played songs.
Yeah, like their last album, their last one with Lane Staley, at least the self-titled one with the three-legged dog on the cover. That has songs like "Heaven Beside You" on it, which is nothing like anything you heard on Dirt.
Yeah, like like the song Nutshell. Like,
That was Jar of Flies. They recorded that one in 6 days.
yeah, no shit.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
a 7-song EP.
that's sweet.
I Stay Away's on that one. It was actually the best-selling EP of all time when it came out.
That's cool.
They just did their
See, this is why I need you here, because you got all these dumb facts that I
they
don't fucking
they
know.
did their tour for Dirt, but I believe I don't want to say I might be wrong on that, but I remember so they kicked their bassist out and they were just they kicked him out like mid tour or right before the tour, and then once they got back they just went up into like a garage, a studio above someone's garage. I forget who it was, and they recorded that in like 6 days, and it became the best-selling EP of all. I think it was the first EP to go. I don't want to. No, I'm not going to misquote I'm not going to say something that's wrong, but I know it was the best-selling up until that point
Yeah,
when it came out.
yeah, that's awesome. And like, you know, these guys were people who didn't have like super lot of cash. One of the things like I was reading is, and it's true, but a lot of the bands that were part of that grunge scene, like you said, they got overlooked. You know what I mean? They didn't really get popular until the band was already said and gone. You know what I'm saying?
There's other. I mean, you have the ones we talked about, but then the smaller ones like L7, the Pixies, and Dinosaur Jr. are like the ones that they had a hit song or two, but they never made it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
And now you get people who are into the scene nowadays, and they're going to go look for that shit. They go back and they're like, you know, Dinosaur Jr. was big when I was in high school, and like that was kind of, you know, quite far away from that time era, and I'd never heard of him. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, okay, cool, Dinosaur Jr.
The
Sounds
Pixies
like
were.
decent.
I mean, the Pixies were big because they had a song in Fight Club.
Yeah, everybody knows Where Is My Mind.
Yeah,
I've
everyone
gone
knows
out to
the
so
song.
many open mics, and I played that. You know what I mean?
People go nuts.
There's, yeah, like as soon as you start playing that lead riff, everybody's like, "Fuck yeah, dude!" Like, it's a good song too, man. And it's neat to see a band like that get noticed because of a movie, and that's a lot of times all it takes. You got to have some dude who's writing a movie who's really into like some indie fucking undercore shit and or underground rather, and bam, there you go, dude. Here's your money, motherfucker.
The Breeders were another one. They weren't really that grunge, but there were some elements of that. I mean, the lead. God, I don't remember her name. The lead singer slash bassist of the Pixies was also the lead singer. No, not lead singer. The bassist for the Pixies was the lead singer of the Breeders.
Okay,
But I
I've
can't
never
think of her
listened to
name.
the Breeders.
You've heard the song Cannonball.
Okay.
If I play
came in like a cannonball.
that's Miley Ray Cyrus,
Oh.
Hannah Montana,
Oh shit.
Molly
Is it?
Cyrus. Shout out to Stitches.
Yeah, dude.
I hope you're out there.
Come
listening.
fight me, bro. I don't know. So I mean, dumb question, but what was your favorite grunge band?
Oh man, because my tastes have changed so much.
Let's say.
There's always mentioned before. Nirvana was one of my was like my favorite band for a long time, but now probably Soundgarden.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So Cornell's pretty big in your book.
I think Cornell is one of the top 5 vocalists of all time.
Yeah. Yeah. He had a range. You know what I mean? And he had a very definitive voice. You can hear him from his Chris Cornell
He has
solo
probably
shit.
one of the most unique. He probably has the most unique voice of all time, but he could actually sing, and he could sing
Yeah.
well. Oh, man, Soundgarden. Yeah, Soundgarden definitely. Yeah, Soundgarden. Alice in Chains would be probably number 2.
Yeah.
But I don't really consider either one of those bands to be like a true grunge band though.
Yeah. I'm gonna definitely say Nirvana.
Yeah,
Straight up.
there's elements of grunge to those bands, but to me, they're not a true grunge band.
Yeah. They didn't have that trashy grittiness, you know.
No.
I mean, Lane Staley did though. As a person, he was pretty grungy. Uh, but I got into Nirvana. Like I said, my cousin had died. I never really listened to him, and it was like his favorite band. And I actually got a couple albums, and dude, like when I listened to it, I was like, dude, these guys are fucking sweet, you know? Here, they've been around for fucking ever. But I got really into them, started studying them and stuff, and just stupid stuff they did. It's cool to watch bands like that come up, you know what I mean? Because he loved playing shows in basements. Like they played shit in like the most oddball type of venues, you know what I mean? They didn't really like to be up on a pedestal on a stage in front of a crowd, but like in the box cut with the lights out, or box set, excuse me, I said cut, but they had that DVD. You know what I mean? You watched some crazy shit. Like one of my favorites was they were in somebody's house practicing because they had no practice space and didn't have enough money for a microphone and PA system. So Kurt's literally playing against the wall and yelling at it to get that echo to come back at him. And that's, innovative as all fuck.
Yeah.
And we're talking about a band who they would break their equipment like at the end of every show. You know what I mean? I was at the Hard Rock Cafe in Boston, and they actually had one of Kurt Cobain's like smashed Stratocasters like framed.
They have one in New York too.
Really?
Yeah.
It's nuts. But one of the things I had read
he had that Frankenstein guitar too.
Yeah, I was going to say he would smash his guitars and then take the working pieces from each show and make a new guitar out of it.
Because he couldn't have the money for a new guitar.
Yeah.
He actually, whenever they're early on, I remember, it's probably one of the picture books I have them, but he broke a guitar and then they had to play 3 shows without him. He didn't have a guitar for like 3 shows. He had to like borrow one.
Oh,
because he didn't have one.
Yeah. I mean, what
hey,
are you
we're
doing?
Nirvana. We're gonna be open up for you guys. By the way, can I borrow your guitar? Because I broke mine last night. How'd you break it? I fucking slung it into the drum set.
Straight smash.
I just threw it as hard as I could into the wall.
What are you doing breaking your guitar if you don't have money for another one? I don't give a fuck, man. Can I borrow yours or not?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, I don't know. It was a movement, I think personally they kind of got away from that whole anarchy scene of the grunge, or I mean the punk, but they still had, like you said, that don't give a fuck vibe. But look at like the video for Smells Like Teen Spirit, you know what I mean?
They were pre-emo.
Yeah. They predated the emotional scene.
They were pre-post grunge.
And I can't say as much for bands like Pearl Jam and Alice in Chains, like Mudhoney. I just recently got into listening to them, you know what I mean? But like I know Kurt was all about the music first. He did lyrics afterwards. He didn't give a shit. Like there's written instances. He said he used to just throw together random bits of poetry, fucking write them down on the way to the studio. Like, yeah, we got this song. I don't have any lyrics for it. Like, he didn't have a guitar. He doesn't have lyrics for a song. Well, fuck it, dude. Sell the kids for food. Write it down.
Yeah.
Write it down. Like it was cool, man. I don't know. You got like a favorite song from Nirvana?
I mean, I really do like I Hate Myself When I Want to Die.
Yeah,
I really do like that song.
it's out there.
Yeah.
It's different.
Serve the Servants is up there.
I'm super into Territorial Pissings.
Yeah,
I
Territorial
fucking
Pissing is good.
Love that song, dude. So hype. So hype. That's a song you could do anything to. I remember one of the first times I seen it used in something. It was on an old DC
No, you
skate
can't
video.
crabcore to it.
Fuck yeah, you can.
You can't crabcore.
Dude. You kidding me?
I just found out about crabcore last night, and I thought it was the greatest thing ever.
I could totally do your mom to that song.
Oh,
She'd love it.
Wow.
By the way, guys, listen. This is also another special request. My wife says every time she watches this, she can't stop thinking about a certain story that I told her about you. And told her how you got your ass kicked at the Emery's house.
Oh, yeah.
She says every time she watches the podcast, she sees you talking, all she can imagine is you going, all the way to the shoulder. So Kenny comes to me the other day, and he's like, "Hey, dude, did I tell you I got my ass kicked at the Emery's party?" And I was like, "No." And
I mean, I got beat.
I
It
thought
was
you were
just,
fucking
it was
around,
me laying on the ground just getting stomped.
and you were so fucking excited about it. You're
Oh
like,
my
"Oh,
god, it's
dude."
so funny. Because
Yeah, go ahead, tell it.
oh
It is
no.
so too good.
I made some derogatory comments about um me and the youngest one were wrestling, and then I made some derogatory comments about his mother. So he started stomping me. And then
Definitely said he
and
was
the,
fisting his mom.
yeah, and then so like right to the elbow, and then the oldest brother comes over, and I'm laying on the ground, and I'm getting stomped and kicked, like I'm getting like beaten, and then they both are like leave him. They start walking away, and then I had one of those bug bracelets on, and I just pulled it up to my shoulder. I was like all the way to the shoulder, and they were like, "That's it." They came back over and started kicking my ass again, and they were like. They said to the middle brother, like, "Do you want in on this?" He's like, "Nah, man, I'm good." And they were like, "Okay," and just went back to just whooping my ass.
Yo, bro, you want a piece of this shit?
Yeah.
Nah, it looks like you guys got it covered. But that's what happens when you insult your friends'
My
moms.
my legs were like covered in bruises and hurt to walk for like 2 days.
You were so excited about it too.
Oh my
like,
god,
when
because
you
it's so
told me.
fun. Because that's not even the first time that's happened. It happens a lot.
Yeah,
Well, it happens probably once a year.
you're a drunk asshole. And you just say some stupid shit.
Me and one of them will be wrestling around, and they'll start saying some stuff, and then all three of them are like, "Okay, we're gonna kick his ass," and then it's not wrestling anymore. It's literally me just getting stomped.
So guys, guys, hey, can you stop? Oh, dude. Oh yeah, I had to say that. I told my wife we talk about it because that's too fucking funny. I feel like the world needs to know that. Just you as a person, all the way to the shoulder. Like, you're such an ass. I love it. So do you like ever?
We should get down the back of our t-shirts.
Yeah,
It's
all the way to
from-
the shoulder.
All the way to the shoulder.
That can be our new quote. I'll do that. That's sweet. Yeah. So going back, like you played a little bit of music and stuff. Like you said, heart-shaped box. You could play that one.
If I could I could play it on drums at one point. I don't know if I could because it's been so long since I picked up a drumstick.
So now, is that something that like, inspired you to want to pick that up? Like, dude, I want to learn to play this on drums. Or did you already play drums a little bit before
I
that?
played drums in like elementary school and stuff.
Okay.
And
So not
then-
on a full kit, or like just like snare,
Just like
drumline kind of stuff?
yeah, like the drumline kind of stuff. But then like that kind of made me want to play it on yeah, I mean, I guess whenever I started learning bass, I started with Nirvana,
Yes.
graduated Rage Against the Machine.
Nice.
And then I did some, I tried learning some other stuff. I tried learning Primus one time, and I was like, fuck this, I'm done.
Yeah, if you pick up a bass and you can play Primus, like, dude, you got it made. Go ahead, buddy. You could play bass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's yours?
Honestly, Heart Shaped Box was one of the first songs I learned to play the whole way through on acoustic. When I first started playing, I was looking up tablature and stuff. I still can't read music. I'm a piece of shit. But I loved it. It was cool as hell. And being able to play along with it, was even cooler. Like, especially I was 15, when I started playing guitar. And it was something fun to do. Like, it really passed my time. It really inspired me, like, to want to learn to play guitar. Like, listening to his music was something that really changed my life. Like, I would have never became the musician I was, honestly, if I didn't listen to, like, Nirvana. They just lit a fire up under my ass, man, and that's what I wanted to do. Playing along with Smells Like Teen Spirit while I was playing, it's one of the funniest, it's like, memories in my head. You just raging in your bedroom,
Crab
dude. Just
core.
going to town, man. It's fun as hell, Everybody knew that song.
I mean, did you ever like listen to a lot of Alice in Chains or anything?
Not as much as I did Nirvana. Like, I mean, I have every one of their albums, but Alice in Chains, no, not so much. I got a buddy, Ben, who's really into them, and we talk about them quite often. And
I saw them when they came around 3 years ago when they were in Warren, like 3 years ago. They were amazing.
what year did Staley die?
2004, but they hadn't actually done anything since like 90. I think their last tour was in like 95 or 96.
So
No one
this is
actually-
a genre that carried on. You know what I mean? It
Lane's-
wasn't.
Lane Staley, no one even saw him for like the last 2 years of his life. He was like a recluse. He just But he just stayed in his house, and the only reason anybody knew something was wrong was his like personal accountant and noticed like no money had been taken out of his account for like 2 weeks, and that's when he'd been dead for 2 weeks when they found him.
Jesus.
He was 90 pounds.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, talk about wasting away, man. You know?
And he was so talented too.
Yeah, that's a lot of shame, but I mean the emotion there, like, I don't know. It's like if you need some help, you know what I mean, you should reach out. If you're fucked up inside your own head, you should definitely tell someone.
But then there's someone like Scott Weiland too who didn't really want help.
Yeah. And yeah, most people don't, I guess. So that's sad part. But
I think they said the last time that anybody really saw him alive was it was like his nephew's birth. He like went and saw his nephew, held him a little bit, and then left, and that was it. Just yeah, sad.
and that's the end of something beautiful, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like going back to Nirvana, it's sad to see that happen because you got to see what they were becoming. Way more musically, like they started writing stuff that mattered to them, and sad to see it go. You know what I mean? Like you're never gonna know what it could have been. But at the same time, like you said, we never have bands like the Foo Fighters and stuff. You know, if Mother Love Boat never, ended,
if there's no Mother Love Bone, there's no Pearl Jam.
Pearl Jam.
You would have had Soundgarden.
Yeah.
You would have had Soundgarden, Nirvana, basically. And Pearl Jam is the one that they're one of the biggest. Well, yeah, of course they're one of the biggest ones, but I don't know a lot of people who are like huge Pearl Jam fans.
No, and especially like even Eddie Vedder's solo stuff. Like I was working in Jacksonville, Florida, and it was a bar slash venue kind of deal, Whiskey River down there, and we had this big sign up promoting his tour, and it's just Eddie Vedder running on a beach holding a ukulele. And I was like, said to my boss Brian, I was like, hey, what the fuck is that? He's like, oh, that's Eddie just frolicking. And I was like, what? Like, I feel he wasn't one of them hardcore badasses, you know what I mean? I feel like Eddie was one of them soft, delicate flowers. Probably still is, but you talk about vocals, man, that guy can belt out some fucking notes.
Yeah, and I mean that's not even like a slight on Pearl Jam.
No.
Because I would actually, Pearl Jam's probably the second biggest one.
Yeah, they're awesome.
I love Pearl Jam. It's just I don't know a lot of people who are into them. Maybe there's not as many hardcore fans. I guess maybe everyone's just casual. Because I mean, if you came to me and were like, "Hey man, Pearl Jam's come around. You want a guy?" I'd be like, yeah, probably. But like, I would know if I almost went to see Soundgarden.
Yeah.
At the Columbus show, the one.
Oh yeah, you told me that. And then Cornell was gone.
Yeah. So I was planning on going to that one, and then I didn't. But it was something I was looking for,
Yeah.
Always be sure if you see a band coming around, go see them.
Yeah.
Because they might not be around the next time.
You never know. Something might happen. Like Maylene and the Sons of Disaster. I'm super into them. Never got to see them live, and now their lead singer, like this was I think 2 years ago, he got in a really bad ATV accident, and I think they're done. You know what I mean? There's no chance I'm gonna see them. So now I just sit in my basement and play their songs by myself. Like, why? One of the things too about grunge, okay, talking about Pearl Jam and Eddie Vedder singing, everybody always talks shit on the way that the music was sung itself. Can you understand anything that Eddie Vedder says in
Yellow Ledbetter?
Yeah.
I was thinking about that the other day, actually. The only thing I can understand, he says, make me cry right before the guitar solo. Made me cry. The whole song, though, I'm like, I have no idea what he's saying. And that's the other thing, too, with those big grunge bands. Like, every one of Kurt Cobain was the least talented lead singer of any of those bands.
Oh, yeah.
By far.
Horrible. I mean, just watching the MTV Unplugged.
Scott Weiland wasn't, like, blow you away. But, I mean, like, when you have guys like Vedder, Staley, and Cornell.
Yeah.
Those guys are like, oh my god, that guy's great. And then you hear Kurt Cobain's and it sounds like molten nails are in his throat. You're like,
Yeah,
what?
dude. Whoa, smoke another cigarette, buddy. Holy
Yeah.
shit. Yeah, like I said, their MTV Unplugged set, like, go listen to In the Pines, my girl, my girl. He's
That's an
like,
that's an old
my
slave.
girl.
That's actually like an old slave song.
Yeah, that's Lead Belly.
Yeah, but it was older than that.
Yeah, yeah, for
Like
sure.
it's literally like an old slave song. And Lead Belly was a piece of shit person. But that's a topic for another time.
That
But just
will be
just remember, everybody, Lead Belly was a piece of shit, and I can't say the line they had on the Life magazine from like the 30s about Lead Belly, because it's racist. But
go Google it. Google's there for a
I
reason.
want that copy of that magazine though so bad.
That's crazy. But that was an inspiration.
It says bad N-word makes good minstrel, and that's on the cover.
Holy fuck. America was pretty
This is in the 30s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a touchy subject there, bud. But
I know.
I mean, regardless, that was something that he loved. Kurt Cobain.
Yeah, he wanted to
how
buy
did you?
He wanted to buy a Lead Belly guitar.
No, he said
He had the chance to buy
somebody
one.
tried to sell him one, and he said it was like $100,000.
And it's weird because Lead Belly played on like back in the day, like Stella guitars were like the J.C. Penney brand guitar.
Yeah.
Like department stores had their own brand of guitars, and Lead Belly just played on like a cheap Stella guitar that he bought at like a Sears or whatever. I have an old Stella. I actually have two of them.
What are you doing with them?
I'm letting them sit in my closet.
Why?
I don't know. Well, they're not like
Take them out, learn to play them.
they're cheap department store guitars.
You can do anything you want in this life, Kenny.
I can't.
Just don't be a fucking bitch.
I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna go sell my soul to the devil now.
You should.
Be the
And
next
then
Robert
we
Johnson.
will be interviewing you and all of your original songs.
Yeah. Oh man.
And up next on the singles list is Kenjamin Galentine with I Sold My Soul to the Devil. No, guys, I'm serious. I really did it. 15-minute guitar solo. Like, whoa!
Yeah. That was another thing. Grunge wasn't big into the guitar solos.
No. And then I talked to a couple buddies about it. And do you remember Ryan Moore from high school?
Yes.
He told
See,
me
Preachy.
he thinks that was one of the reasons why Nirvana wasn't like as popular as they were, because they didn't have guitar solos.
They had like 10-second. They had like the real short guitar solo.
And they were not good. But the thing that bugs me is Kurt could solo. He played guitar like really well. Like on those videos, oh man, I can't even remember the name of the song. Like he'd just go up and down the fretboard real quick. You know what I mean? And you're like, okay, like that guy's got dexterity. He's got the finger strength. He could do some damn solos if he wanted, but I just feel like he didn't see any place in it. Maybe because they're getting away from that 80s big band fucking look how good I can play
the
guitar
guitarist
metal.
for Soundgarden. I can't think of his name right now, and that's gonna bug me because I know it.
Steven Tyler?
No, he's the lead singer of Aerosmith.
Oh, fuck. I'll get it right.
I should have had. I should have had a better follow now.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he's like the lead singer of Motley Crue.
Yeah.
But he used to do guitar solos, and then he got away from 'em, and then when all the grunge bands started not doing guitar solos, he started doing them again. Because he doesn't like being a grunge band. He doesn't even like the term grunge.
Yeah, don't fucking classify me as that, dude.
Yeah.
That's fucked up. I mean, what are you going to do at that point? You're that big. Deal with it.
You're like, I'm trying to differentiate myself.
Yeah.
I don't want to be them.
I mean, do you part ways at that point? You already have a name for yourself. You can make something different.
I mean, Soundgarden did go away for a long time.
Yeah.
Soundgarden, Chris Cornell went and did what the fuck was his name? Audioslave did
That's
that for
it.
a year. He
Yeah,
did that
yeah.
for a few years.
Quite a few.
They got back to they broke up in like 2000, mid 2000s. Then he got back together with Soundgarden. They did the whole Avengers, the song for the Avengers movie, like the leading track for the Avengers movie. Made a new album. Chris Cornell did some solo stuff. He actually did solo twice.
Yeah, one
It was like
the one I knew was
Soundgarden,
most recent though.
Soundgarden solo work, Audio Slave, or no, maybe it was Soundgarden, Audio Slave. Then he did solo stuff. Then he did Soundgarden again. Then did his solo stuff again.
Yeah, the one that was most
And it's
recent is
it's
the one
just
I
so
knew.
weird. It's like when you have that unique of a voice, you could just tell me that Soundgarden. I would never know.
Yeah, I actually
I
made a Facebook post one day like Chris Cornell's voice is like on every song played on the radio nowadays. Because you got his solo work, you got Soundgarden, you got Audio Slave, and you got Temple of the Dog. Like you could literally hear Chris Cornell sing on 5 songs played consecutively,
let's
and
just
it's not the same
let's
band.
just get his let's just get his. We'll play a game now. We gotta play a game now where we just get Chris Cornell stuff and be like, all right, which one is this?
Yeah, Soundgarden or not.
Yeah. I'll take
Soundgarden.
solo work.
Yeah.
No, it's Mother. It's Temple of the Dog.
Yeah, sorry, dude. Yeah, you fucked up. But yeah. I don't know, man. I don't. I feel if we were to talk, like we said, punk. Like the big question: do you think grunge is dead? I mean,
I think so.
I think so.
Grunge.
That is a flame that has been extinguished.
What killed it was literally post grunge because post grunge was bands like Creed and Nickelback.
Yeah.
Like the most hated bands on the planet were post grunge.
And I seen them, on that list. Like if you Google grunge bands, there's an extensive list on there you can scroll down to. But as you get towards the bottom, you start to see bands like that, like Creed and
They're
Nickelback and
they're
stuff.
post grunge bands, but like
They
those,
definitely had that singing sound, that same vocal, like range and tone and shit. That was all there, like Puddle of Mud, even. You know what I mean? But
yeah, Puddle of Mud was post grunge band too. People, what I'll say about Nickelback and Creed though is people rip on those guys a lot, but you don't sell 20 million albums being the most hated band on the planet because that's what they've done.
yeah,
They've sold like tens of millions of albums, and everyone's like, I hate that band. I'm like fuck you, dude. You probably own a record at home.
yeah.
I don't care for them. I don't own records by Creed or Nickelback. I notoriously make fun of Creed actually.
If you have not done this, everybody listening included, you need to YouTube Creed shreds.
Oh, you show me that.
It is fucking hilarious. They
Creed-
took a Creed concert and they just dubbed over top of it with a guy twanging on a guitar all shitty. And it sounds like a strung out fucking heroin addict singing. He's like,
It's like the video on YouTube, Los Lonely Boys' Largest Circle Pit. Have you ever seen that one?
No.
Oh my god, it's fucking amazing.
Oh my god. But yeah, you're right, dude. You can't shit on bands like that.
No.
You can. It's funny to shit
I
on
can.
Nickelback, but
I mean, I'll say bad things about Nickelback and Creed, but at the same time, those guys sold tens of millions of albums, and they are more successful than I will ever be.
yeah,
So
yeah. Where's your shit?
if I'm Scott Stapp and I hear this, and I'm like, who the fuck is Kenny G?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. It's not gonna matter.
yeah, it doesn't matter.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't notice you because I'm so big.
Oh, really? My band's like the worst band ever. Where's your fucking platinum record?
Yeah. Hey, I just listened to the Busting Heads. Uh,
That's
what the fuck?
that's what killed it though. Was those bands?
Yeah.
They kind of lost their edge, and people went after that instead.
They started to go towards that mainstream, like, hey, let's make money deal.
It's like there's like a pop, then there's rock, then pop and rock are always fighting for who's gonna be on top, and it's just every time you got to change a little bit.
Yeah.
Because pop, you had that 80s sound, you got grunge, and then pop was like, all right, we got boy bands now. And then rock was like, okay, we got Creed. And then pop came back, and, your early 2000s, your Britney Spears, and, your the single girl, like Kelly Clarkson and stuff. And then
Yeah.
rock came back with emo, and then here, we're in a pop phase right now with Ariana Grande and stuff. And then a few more years will be a rock phase, and who knows what's after that.
Yeah, I'd like to see what's coming out. I think,
Grunge Renaissance. We'll be living under bridges in Seattle, Washington.
yeah, we should have a concert held there. That would be sweet. But,
Kurt Cobain allegedly lived under a bridge, so.
yeah, if you guys are unaware, he used to live off of grass and water drippings from the ceiling. Good song. But, I think, and I would definitely want to do an episode on this. It's another fan request, but from my wife. But she said, we should
You're
talk
our
about
number one fan, Josh's wife.
our number one fan. Without the love and support of her, I don't think we'd be doing this, Kenny. But she said we should talk about the evolution of music. You know what I mean? Like, take a band when they first came out.
I mean, did she want to go the whole way back? Because we just talked.
No.
We just talked about how slave songs
turned into
blues songs, turned into covers
fucking,
by grunge bands.
Yeah, that's pretty evolution. But like, take a band like
Black Betty was a slave song too.
say like Metallica when they first came out. Like, listen to something like that, and then to what they turned into. You know what I mean? Like, bands literally turn into almost completely different bands.
Corporate greed.
Her there you go. Her exact example, she's like, Bring Me the Horizon. There are people out here right now listening to Bring Me to the Horizon who are super into them, who have never heard a single track off of Suicide Season. If I were to play that to you, and you heard it,
Suicide Season is the only Bring Me the Horizon album.
you wouldn't like it, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Black and Blue, those songs are just disgustingly heavy. And then you listen to this shit that Ollie's singing now, dude. This new single is fucking pop music. There's nothing heavy about it.
Even then with Nirvana though, Bleach sounds nothing like Nevermind, which sort of kind of sounds like stuff from In Utero.
Yeah.
They change with every album.
Yeah.
Alice in Chains, like Facelift, first album, and then you listen to Alice in Chains, the last one with Lane Staley. Doesn't sound anything like the William Duvall stuff. Kind of their newer stuff with William Duvall sounds, pretty good. And actually, William Duvall is probably one of the best replacement lead singers ever.
Willem Dafoe sings for
William Duvall.
Willem Dafoe
No, William
sings
Dafoe.
in Alice in Chains.
William Duvall, because I remember I saw The Dark Knight in theaters. I was driving home and I was like, that was like the best movie I've ever seen. It was like opening night, like The Dark Knight came out. I'm like, that's like the best superhero movie I've ever seen. And they were like, new Alice in Chains. I'm like, Lane Staley's been dead for 5 years. What's going on here? And
Whoa,
then,
Tupac, chill out.
And then I heard it. I'm like, holy shit. But a lot of that, too, is Jerry Cantrell.
Okay.
And their harmonizing vocals are just amazing.
And that was one of the things, too, though, was...
Hold on, because I always have
Jerry Cantrell and...
I always have my argument with my friends. Is it Alice in Chains without Lane Staley? Or is it Jerry Cantrell that makes Alice in Chains?
I don't know. I kind of think Cantrell, but...
I always say Cantrell. I've always said Cantrell because he wrote the songs, he played the songs,
He
and
still
he
sung
sings
them.
in almost all of the songs.
Yeah.
Lane Staley, phenomenal vocalist, but you can have Alice in Chains without Lane Staley. You cannot have Alice in Chains without Jerry Cantrell.
That's, that's the way America leads, though. Maybe not America, just let's say the world, because a front lead singer, like that front man, is usually what makes that band. That's why they're the front man. You know what I mean? Just the sound they have. But they try to change lead singers because somebody quits. They try to find somebody who sounds like them.
Bands you can. The only band I think that has ever existed where you could not replace any of the members is Rush.
Yeah.
You can't have Rush without Geddy Lee. You can't have Rush without Neil Peart.
You can't have Primus without fucking...
Les Claypool.
Yeah.
But he's the lead singer. I mean, a lot of bands, when they lose their... Well, it used to be if a band lost their lead singer, they were done, but now they usually try and replace them.
But see, I think the hard part is you can write down music and you can play anything. You can have anybody... Like, I could teach you a guitar song, you could play it. You know what I'm saying?
You can't have
that
Nirvana
same...
without Kurt Cobain.
You can't have that same vocal range. You know what I mean? You can't... It'd be hard as fuck to hit those same exact notes every time.
You can't have Soundgarden without Chris Cornell.
Yeah. You can't have anything without Chris Cornell now.
You can't. Yeah, there's like 5 bands we can't have.
Yeah.
Actually, allegedly though, and I just read this, apparently there's like 30 unreleased Audio Slave songs out there.
I bet they're released. I
think it was Tom Morello said that there was like 30 unreleased Audio Slave tracks. Like Audio Slave could release 3 more albums with just stuff they have recorded. They've never released. That's crazy. Nirvana stuff, all of it got released.
Yeah. All the B-sides.
All the B-sides, everything.
And that was cool as fuck. You got to be really into them to listen to some of that shit.
That's why I have 2 copies, okay?
Yeah.
I gave one to my brother because I got a second one.
Yeah, dude.
I got one for Christmas, and then the other one I saw at a flea market for like $5, and I was like, fuck it.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
At this point.
I have an addiction to buying CDs, though.
That's okay, dude. We'll get you some help. I'll buy you some
I'm gonna
MP3s.
start like blending them and just injecting them into my veins.
Yeah.
I'll be like, I am the Biggie Smalls now. He's in my veins.
Life after death, motherfucker. But I say that a lot, don't I? Hey,
But it's just, sometimes I just lose my train of thought. I'm like, wait, we were talking about this, but grunge is I think for everyone who grew up in the '90s or everyone who was a teenager in the '90s,
it's always gonna have a place in your heart.
at some point in your life you stop listening to new music, and I'm almost to that point where I like something new something will come on. They're like, this song's 10 years old. I'm like,
No, it's not.
no, it's not. And I'm getting to that point, but I mean, like, that stuff to me, that's like home.
Yeah. Something
That's
you
like
always go back to.
I always go back to it. I mean, I can put in Bad Motor Finger anytime, and I'm just like, oh, dude, Jesus Christ, President, I want to listen to that. Or, I throw in Super Unknown, which just an amazing album. Soundgarden, Super Unknown.
Don't know it.
Black Hole Sun's on it.
Okay, well I know that one.
Super Unknown. Limo Wreck. That was their best-selling album.
Yeah.
It's just that album, man, always brings me back home. Yield by Pearl Jam. I like Yield better than I did 10.
Yeah.
But that was personal preference. Yield was 94. I think it was the follow-up, actually.
Yeah, think about how old those albums are.
25 years.
Yeah, it's fucking nuts. It's like me and my wife were just talking. 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge just turned 15. What?
Yeah.
It makes you realize, you're getting old, but at the same time, you've got some stories to tell. You've got some shit to show. You know what I mean? Like I can't wait till my kid, he's 6 now. He, starts to get like, 14 stuff, like 15. I'm going to show him some fucking music that I used to listen to at this age, like, dude, check these guys out. Because he's in the music. He's always dancing. Like, he's really into, like, he likes techno stuff. Imagine Dragons, I would say, is probably one of his favorite bands. He loves the song Believer because there's so many videos of it on YouTube, whether somebody put Believer over top of Five Nights at Freddy's or Minecraft or something like that. So maybe I should just put some Nirvana over top of that shit and then let him listen to it.
All right, this is my Cannibal Corpse over. Be like, hey, buddy, want us to fuck by a knife?
Wow, Dad, thanks. But that's what happens, man. Like I told you, like one of the first times I'd ever heard Territorial Pissings was on a DC skate vid. Never heard the song before. I was like, wait a minute, I have this album, and I went and I think it's like track 7.
Yeah.
And I was like, Jesus,
I used to know
this song's awesome.
At one point, I could probably tell you whatever. If you were like, hey, what number is Heart Shaped Box?
3.
I'm like 3.
Yeah,
on In Utero.
boy. Yeah.
Or if you're like, hey, which one is what's Polly? What's that on? Never mind. I'd be like, I don't know it now, but
11.
I was gonna say I think it's 11.
Yeah. I know it's way later on there. But,
Something in the Way is the last track on the album.
Yeah, number 12.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy to think about. I didn't know I still had that ability.
Yeah,
because you listen to it.
You
so
listen
many
to
damn
it so many
times.
times, and like, whenever I got into it too, it's not like I just had an iPod where I just press play and would shuffle.
Yeah.
I had like a Sony, like $20 Walmart CD player with like the anti-skip that like if you bumped it wouldn't skip, but it still skipped anyway because that was. But so like you'd sit there and you just have to remember. You'd be looking at the back of the album, and be like, I want to hear this song. You'd skip ahead.
Yeah. I take for granted that. You know what I mean? Especially with the technology we have nowadays. Like, at the time that vinyls were fucking huge, like, if you want to listen to that song, you better find it. You know what I mean? We never had to do that shit. You know, you could still listen to vinyls today and still get the same kind of deal. But
I mean, whenever I was real little, we didn't have a CD player. We had a cassette. So like, you just hit fast forward until you got close.
Oh,
or
yeah,
you're
right.
You're like, shit, I'm partway through the song. Let me go back a little bit.
Yeah.
Rewind, play.
I forgot all about cassettes. How the fuck did I do that?
You're retarded? I don't know.
This is kind of funny, but off topic.
We need to stop being so hateful on this podcast.
Dude, it's all right. Wait till we
get big.
Wait till we get big, and then everybody actually hates us. We'll be like,
Well, no, we have to get big. We'll have 500 episodes, and people will dig through all the way to the beginning to find the stuff that we said, the hateful things we said.
yeah. And then next thing you know, I can't run for Congress anymore, and I'm gonna be upset about it. But this is off topic. But going back to what we said about the vinyls and stuff, Tom Petty on one of his albums, like on the CD, he actually, I think it was like halfway through, let's say like track 5, I don't know what it was. He goes, "Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the part of the album where anybody listening on a cassette tape would actually have to take it out and flip it over to the other side. So for the sake of those guys, we're going to take a minute. Thanks for listening." And then, like, that's actually on the end of one of his songs. Like, I thought that was cool shit. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
He mentions back to that, you know? Don't forget where you fucking came from.
Yeah.
You know? But, guys, I think that's it for today.
What's your favorite? Tell us in the comments. What's your favorite grunge band? What's your favorite grunge song, grunge album? Pair of ripped jeans, ripped flannel. What do you got?
Yeah, what's your favorite kind of flannel to wear? You know what I'm saying?
Colin, where you at?
Once again, shout out to Bobby Palco for the request. If you guys live in the area, you should definitely go out and check out his shop, Boxcar Cigar, out in Valant, PA. Very cool.
They also
cool
have
place.
the Rail Distillery right next door.
Yes, and he makes his own whiskey.
Yeah.
He's a cool dude. That was our art teacher, man.
That's pickle whiskey and stuff too. Weird flavors.
Yeah.
Very
So
exotic
get out
shit.
there, check him out, guys. He's really cool. Once again, shout out to Lolo Company Designs for our awesome new tumblers. If you guys are looking to buy some of these or some T-shirts, please let us know. We will definitely get them out to you.
We're gonna try and get an order in pretty soon.
Yeah, we got to get a production order before we sit them down in front of anybody.
I have to know how many I need to order.
We'll do like 1,000.
I don't think she can keep up.
Yeah, I don't think my wallet can either.
No.
But all right, guys, please be sure to give us a like,
Subscribe,
hit that bell,
share
the shit out of this.
Hit the bell on YouTube to stay notified. It'll let us know when we try and upload them every Monday. Sometime between Sunday and Monday, we record these Sunday night. And
so every weekend, guys, check us out. Facebook.com/extraordinaryexpletive. It's our main social media page at the moment. But
Twatter is coming.
Next week.
We're going to have a Pornhub account, too.
Next week, we will be having Mr. David Busco from the band Wanderer. You guys should definitely go check him out on Facebook. His Bandcamp, Wanderer PA.
Yeah.
And they're also up on SoundCloud, and they are also on Spotify, too. So check them out, guys. They're pretty fucking awesome. I'm going to be really excited to interview that guy. Get to hear some cool original music, too, man. They're awesome. So, all right, guys. Stay tuned. We'll see you soon.
Take care.